So this video was supposed to go a lot different than the intro is starting. I don't even know what to say right now. It was a crazy morning. We had the fanny pack drop. What is supposed to be the last drop of fanny packs, and I've been working literally hundreds of hours over the past couple of months, preparing the fanny packs, making sure that I stick to the ratios, everything. And it went so fast. It went so fast, and I honestly was not expecting it because the last two drops that we had like 20% of the amount that I posted this morning, and they lasted over 24 hours. And I said that this was going to be the last fanny pack drop. I don't know what to do right now at this point. I need to figure something out. It's very frustrating because I do want to be able to provide fanny packs. I do want to be able to provide mystery packs at a good value for everybody. I don't make any money. Contrary to popular belief, there is no money being made. Actually losing money because I am spending tons of hours, labor hours, putting these together. And it's just, I guess I should have done better, and it's just I take it very personally, and I know for the most part a lot of people did get some. A lot of people did get some, and a lot of people, there were people who didn't, that are noticeably frustrated, and that's completely understandable. I would be too. You know, it sells out in the first drop. I separated into two waves. The first drop sells out in like 4 minutes, and then the second drop sells out in an additional 6 minutes. And it's like, so all of them in 10 minutes gone. Like, it's insane to think about, and I'm not good at this. Like, I will be the first to admit I'm not great at this. I make fun of myself all the time. But you guys are very overwhelming with gratitude and with just being absolutely amazing, and you deserved better. And I didn't perform, I guess, the way that I should have, and I do apologize for that. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. I'm reflecting about it. I'll figure something out. But it's very, very frustrating to try and provide something and just not be able to provide it to everybody. And that's the thing about giveaways too. It's like, I want people to win, I want people to get stuff, but I can only do so much. I can only give so much, and that's part of the problem, right? You can only do so much, and I just need to do more. I just need to figure out a way to do more. The title of this video is asking if it's safe to talk about Pokemon investing, because a couple weeks ago I recorded a video that was kind of about Pokemon investing, and it just got blown way out of proportion. And this video was supposed to come out as a follow-up video, but because of the attention that first video got, I decided to push this video off and kind of let the dust settle a little bit, because it was just a lot of stuff was taken out of context. And to everybody's defense, I can be very wordy. And I'm, like I said before, I'm bad at this. Like, I don't do a lot of editing. I don't do a lot of like glitz and glamour and things like that. I just kind of talk and then cut off the beginning, cut off the end, and boom, I post the video, and that's pretty much it. So sometimes I might miss something, or sometimes my words might jumble together and I don't get off everything that I want to convey. When I was talking about that Pokemon investing video a couple weeks ago, the video in specific that I was frustrated by was just a short on a reel on Instagram. It wasn't directed at anybody in specific, so there was no YouTube personality or content creator that I was attacking in general. But I was, I guess, in a way, attacking the ideology that you could buy a Lost Origin booster box right now, hold it for 6 months, and it would go up to $200. I didn't think that was good advice to be giving to people. I think if you want to be a Pokemon investor, like, go nuts. Like, I have nothing against you. Like, this whole ideology that I don't like investors, like, I don't know why that came across. Like, I think everybody belongs in this hobby. If you want to invest in Pokemon, go nuts. Like, you belong here. I still think you belong here. Like, I think as long as you enjoy what you are doing, that's what's important. Invest in or collect in what you want, and as long as you do it and you have a passion for it, I think that's all that matters. Especially because down the road, if it doesn't end up being worth 10x or 100x or whatever, you still win because you're doing what you love, and you're collecting or investing in what you love. And all I wanted to get across was that there's people that come into the hobby all the time. So there's a lot of people who have been in the hobby now for a few years, a lot of people who have been in the hobby for longer than that. But there's also a lot of people who came into the hobby with 151, a lot of people who came into the hobby with Scarlet and Violet base. A lot of people all the time that I see in comment sections who are like, hey, I just joined, I just started up, or I just came back to the hobby after 25 years or 20 years or whatever the case may be. And if they're looking at advice from people, short-term investing advice from people that is saying, hey, this Lost Origin booster box is going from $130 to $200, it's going to skyrocket to the moon in the next 6 months. Like, I don't think that is wise advice to be giving to people. I think people should do their research, but no means ever was I talking about long-term investing. Was I talking about diversifying your portfolio? Was I talking, like, I was not talking about buying at MSRP. I was talking about using MSRP as a spectrum, because that's what the Pokemon Center sells at. So if you want Fusion Strike and Brilliant Stars booster boxes to be worth more than MSRP, well, they're probably going to have to sell out at MSRP on Pokemon Center's website in order for it to get past that point. And for some reason, I did not convey that well enough, where it just got taken way out of context. And it's not the first time things got taken out of context. It's not going to be the last time that things get taken out of context. And it was just blew up into this big thing. But I do have a video about Pokemon investing, not in a negative light by any means, but really more as like, hey, I want to throw caution to the wind here. If you're coming into the game or you're looking at saving sealed items or things like that, like, that's fine. Do you be happy? Like, that's what's most important. But part of the problem is, part of the thing is, down the road, it's not always going to be super easy to sell. It's not always going to be super easy to move off of things. So it's important to diversify. It's important to look at different areas. It's important to buy low. Like in the last video, I was talking about buying booster boxes at $100. If you didn't do it at that point, you may have missed the boat if they're at $130. And huge shout out to everybody who was listening to what I was saying. Thank you so much. I was able to get my point across to some people, and that means a lot. But I just don't want people to make the same mistakes that I've made in the past. And I want people to enjoy the hobby. If they stop, if they start losing money, people stop enjoying the hobby, and then they kind of exit. So I'm going to go through these fairly quickly, because I did ramble a little bit, which is part of the problem. Like, I do just ramble because I'm trying to get my points across. So I do apologize for that. We're talking about sealed items that you may have purchased. Sealed items that really came out during the pandemic or close to around the time of pandemic, that have risen in price quite a bit. Like, this is just a sealed collector's box. This is a Galarian Surfetched V box. This came out right around the time of Champions Path release. These were available at Target, available at big box stores, but they came out during a time where the pandemic really shortened product for people and really increased demand for a lot of people. So these got bought out a lot, whether they got cracked open or ripped open or sealed and stored away. That's up to the person who purchased it. But you can see definitely growing up in price quite a bit. This was a $20 box when you purchased it, but now you can see over the past year, it's been going over double in price. Like right now, it's selling for $45.64. That's the market value, the market price for this Galarian Surfetched V-Box. It was down at $30 back in January of 2023. Now it's selling for $45.64. But what's important to note, and this is just TCG Player, so we're just looking at TCG. I'm sure there's sold listings on eBay. I'm sure there's sold listings on other websites, but this is just TCG Player. I wanted to put the latest sales up there, because if you are putting a lot of your eggs in one basket, let's say you bought 20 of these Galarian Surfetched V-Boxes, first of all, storage is a huge issue. Like, if you're putting these in storage, they take up a lot of space. Over time, the more you buy, the more space it's going to take up. But you can see there's only 2 sales over the past few months. So you had a sale in September for $48.97, and you had 2 that sold in July. So a quantity of 2 to 1 person at $44 a piece. That's it over the last 3 months. So they're not, a lot of these products, like booster boxes, if you want to invest in booster boxes, or if you want to invest in other sealed items, like, those will move fairly well, even down the road. Once they get a little bit pricier, like now we're at a point where Evolving Skies is a little pricey, moves a lot slower than what it used to. But Galarian Surfetched, very slow moving. And that's another important thing to remember as you go down. You're going to be paying shipping, you're going to be paying tax, you're going to be paying there's a lot of factors that go into things, and it's also going to be very slow to move. Here's a Poltergeist V collection box that came out right around the same time. I wanted to do the majority of collection boxes that weren't focused on a specific set, like what you see from Shining Fates. I do think that there will be some down the road in this presentation, but Poltergeist V, this one was a $20 box also in November of 2022. It jumped up to $29.99, stayed relatively flat for the majority of the year. You can see it hit $49.97, so almost doubling in price in March as more became available, or as less became available, I should say. Went back down. It's still at $41.98, so still double MSRP. But again, if you look at the sold listings, only a couple sales over the last few months. You had one on October 26th for $41.98, and you had one on September 4th for $41.98 as well. Here's the Cinderace V collector's tin. So this would have also been like a $20 product. This was before the MSRP change. I think this might have been $25. I can't remember exactly what it was, but this was about a $20 product. You can see in November of 2022 is already close to double MSRP at $39.97. Did spike a little bit in January of 2023, where it was selling for $52.47, then leveled off, and that's because there haven't been that many sales. So now it's selling for $44.97 as a market price, but only 2 sales. So you have one on October 12th for $44.98, then you had a few that sold on August 19th for $44.97. So not moving moving extremely quickly. Here's the Arceus V. This one moves a little bit better. It does have that Cosmic Eclipse pack in it. You may remember purchasing these. These are still available, not at bad pricing, but I think this was a $25 box when it originally came out. A lot of excitement for this box because of the figure, also because of the Cosmic Eclipse pack, and because that Arceus V is so playable, and it was even more playable at the time. Low point on this one was $33.08 back in November of 2022 over the past year. It's basically getting close to the point of double MSRP. It's sitting at $39.99 right now, which is just off of its $41.79 high. This one moves a little bit better. You can see in November, there's 4 sales in this month, so moving a little bit better. Still not great, but November 10th, you had 2 sales. November 8th, you had 1 sale, and November 4th, you had 1 sale, all for $32, except for that one on November 4th, which was for $43. Here's the Dialga V-Star box. This one came out, Dialga V-Star and Palkia V-Star. This one's actually starting to climb quite a bit, getting closer and closer to that MSRP level, but you could have bought it for much cheaper earlier on in the year. You can see in January of 2023, it was basically at its 1-year low of $32.61, but then really started climbing. Dialga started getting a little bit of play, which helped that climb a little bit. Now it's not getting play anymore, but still leveled off a little bit because that spike had already happened. $38.49 was its high point, which it hit last month. It's sitting at $38.40 right now, but again, only 3 sales over the last few months. So you had one in the beginning of October for $35, and then in September you had 2, one in the middle and one at the end. $46.25 at the end of September, and then $44.99 in the middle of September. Here's the Dragonite V collector's box. This one's actually really good because the Dragonite V became so playable in Lost Box. This was such an important card that Dragonite V was selling by itself for $10, $12, $14, but relatively flat for the first half of the year. You can see it hit its 1-year low in March of 2023 of $25.54. It's about $5 over the MSRP price, and then once Lost Zone started getting a lot of play, really started climbing in price. It also has an Evolving Skies pack in it, which helps a lot. In September of 2023, it was up over $35, hit $35.78 recently, so that's a 1-year high. But again, not many sales. You're only looking at about 3 sales over the past month, one on November 11th, one on October 22nd, and one on October 21st. As we get a little bit older, here's the Umbreon and Darkrai. This is one of the tag team power collections. This one was super cool, very, very cool. But if you've been experienced and in the hobby for longer, or even if you plan on being in the hobby 5 years from now, so maybe that Dragonite V box that we just looked at 5 years down the road, will it get to the point of what you see from like a tag team powers box? Probably not, because you have Cosmic Eclipse, you have Celestial Storm, which does have less availability right now. So a lot of the sets that are printed right now, a lot of those packs, a lot of people will buy collector's boxes because of the packs that are inside, because of the contents that are inside, also because of the artwork, like the tag team jumbo here and the tag team alternate art promo, which definitely drives up the value of it quite a bit. But still, very few sales on a product like this, which is also super expensive now at this point. In November of 2022, it was sitting at $250, but continued to climb in price. It's all the way up to $305.39 right now, but not a fast mover. So you can see October 27th, there was a sale, but that was the last sale on TCG Player. And then there was 2 in September at the end of the month, on September 29th and September 30th, both over $300. So a little bit harder to move. Here's the Charizard GX. There was not a full art Charizard GX in Burning Shadows. They had a promo box of it. That's why you have Burning Shadows booster packs there, kind of showcasing at the beginning. January of 2023, this was sitting at a 1-year low of $144.99. Did a good job of being very consistent in sales throughout the entire year. $275.96 is where it's currently sitting. TCG Player did not have enough sales in order to show me a graph of the latest sales, so I couldn't put anything up there, which means that this product just really isn't moving fast at all. Same thing with the Mega Powers collection. This is a really cool box because it does feature different artworks of a lot of Pro Bone cards. You can see the Zygarde, you can see the Mega Lucario, you can see the Jolteon, and you can see the Mega Manectric. This one, lots of cool, a good plethora of different booster packs that are inside, which has definitely helped this collection box increase in price. November of 2022, it's sitting at $198.98. It's done nothing but go up all year. It's sitting at $270, so a great investment piece again. However, a very slow mover down the road, and that's something to keep in mind. The Small But Mighty collection, this was something that was exclusive to, I want to say, either GameStop or Target. It was exclusive somewhere. It was very difficult to get. It came out during the pandemic, but it has exploded in price over the past year. Look at that. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts. Lots of really cool booster packs, but it's also got that alternate art, Togepi, Cleffa, and Igglybuff that's inside, or yeah, Igglybuff that's inside. Really cool looking artwork for that alternate art promo. It was at $154.64 as a 1-year low in November of 2022. Really climbed quite a bit until until July of 2023, then leveled off a little bit. You can see it hit that 233.50 1-year high in October. But again, very few sales. So one on November 11th, one on October 28th, and one on October 27th. So over the last month and a half or so, it's had about 3 sales. Here's the Kanto Power Collection. These were really, really cool. You could find them in Walmart. They had 10 Evolutions packs inside. I remember when my distributor announced that these were coming out, a lot of people were like, why? Who's going to buy these? Because at the time, Evolutions was just super overprinted, but Evolutions went nuts at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was bought out like crazy. But you could still find these kind of popping up at Walmart even 6, 7, 8 months after they released, which was shocking. 187.01 is where this was in August of 2020. In August, this is just 3 months of data, but look at what it's done over the past 3 months. $240.59 is where it's currently sitting, but again, not a whole lot of sales. He didn't have any sales in November, no sales in October. You have to go back to September 29th to see the last sale. There were 2 that sold on that day, and then over a month before that, August of 2023, August 16th was when the other one sold for $246.99. So very slow mover. Here's the collector's chest. I can't remember what year this one was, maybe 2018. I can't remember exactly what it is. All up and down, but you can see still very expensive. Low point of 185 in February of 2023, jumped up to 226.98. It slowed down a little bit. It's at 201.83. Packs inside are really, really good. However, this is only a $20, $25 MSRP tin. Doesn't move very fast at all. No sales in October, no sales in November, but you do have 2 sales in September, September 24th and September 16th. So very hard to move some of these more expensive products like this Mewtwo and Mew tag team, these tins that came out that have team up in them. November of 2022, this was sitting at $107.33. Again, this is a $25 tin. Really exploded in price, especially because team up did so well throughout the year. $188.31 was its 1-year high, which it hit in October of 2023. Just backed off a little bit to $187.13. But if you look, not a whole lot of sales again. November 9th, September 6th, and August 4th. So not a whole lot of movement on that one. Here's the Duskmane Necrozma collection box. This came out around the time of Ultra Prism. Very flat for the first half of 2023. You can see it's 1-year low, $63.40, but over doubling in price then after that, sitting at $164.98, but only 1 sale over the past 4 months, and that was in July. End of July, it sold for $199.97. That's the last one that we're going to look at, but very interesting to look at. The first half of the slideshow kind of showed you, showcased items that you may have bought during the pandemic, and then showed you the back half of the slideshow kind of showed you items that you may have bought right before the pandemic kind of started. So a lot of variance that happens there, and it's great to see the increase in price, and I think that's fantastic to kind of point out to people. But also, it's also important for people to do their homework, realize that these aren't going to sell a ton. They're not going to sell extremely fast, so it's good to diversify yourself. Ultimately, it's the most important thing is really just collect or invest in what you enjoy, because if one day down the road it ends up not being worth, a ton of money, at least it's all about, the journey. It's not about the destination. As corny as that sounds, as dumb as it sounds, I don't really care, because I think it's really important to say. And I think it's important to understand and important to hear. If you love the game and you love the hobby and you love doing what you're doing, it doesn't really matter what the end result is, because you're enjoying yourself now. And part of it is the memories that you're making along the way. I think that's super important to remember. But don't expect to 10x overnight. And that was really what I was trying to get across with that first video. That's why we're focusing on graphs and things like that. That really went over 9 months of data and really focusing on how flat things were for 6, 7 months. I think that's really important to look at. But ultimately, just do your research, do your homework, listen to who you want to listen to. And if that's not me, that's totally fine. Like, you should do what's best for you. And I think that's really important. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a long way for the algorithm. But just thank you for everything. I really, really appreciate you. And hopefully I'll just keep doing better. I got to just keep doing better. I got to do more. And I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Peace.